Welcome. My name is Solange Ellen and I'm recording my little True News update from my bush office here on Ghana country. And yeah, just letting you know I am alive, and thank you to Rob who responded to my call out for assistance and sent me some money so I can get some phone credit and mobile data to be able to, keep doing my work, keep reporting. Currently the digital system's down and I can't actually access that money, so that's, interesting, isn't it? But yeah, I really need an office and a staff to help me with my work. Would be great, because there's a lot of people that actually need assistance and are being targeted and persecuted through this beast system and the criminals that operate within it. And they need to be able to access some honest assistance. So, when they're being targeted and they're under attack, that there is actually honest assistance for them to reach out and say, help, I need community support, an honest review, come and have a look at what's going on and please help me. So I've been providing that service, just because it needs to be provided, because it's in me and I can see what people are going through, and then just do what I can do to help, with my limited resources, and seeking the guidance and direction of my elders as well, to try and show me how to do my job, lawfully in their country, is really what it comes down to. So I've got my L plates on. I'm not saying I'm doing a great job. I'm doing the best that I can under very difficult circumstances. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the real world with people being targeted, especially anyone like me that is a whistleblower. If you stand up and you're telling the truth, it makes you a target. They want to shut us down and shut us up. So Mary Ann Colson is an original sovereign mother from Port Augusta, and I met Mary through Tash, who was not known to me, who connected with Leanne from Adelaide Freedom Rallies, and they connected Mary and I when she had been abducted from her home under the Mental Health Magical Powers Act for talking a little bit too much truth in her community, and they actually ganged up on her, physically abducted her, injected her with sedative, and then airlifted her from Port Augusta to Adelaide. And they did that twice. Twice they've done that to Mary. And it's absolutely horrific, what she actually has been put through. And there's nothing wrong with her. She's not mentally ill or unstable at all. She's a beautiful mum who happens to know the truth and is telling people information that they feel confronted by. They're afraid of her because she's telling them a truth that's scary. And so now she's in the situation where the DCP are swarming around her, trying to make claims, to having authority over her children. And they're doing that on the grounds of random drug screening with Mary. And Mary doesn't take, synthetic drugs at all. She uses bush medicine, which is essentially weed grown in the earth by the sunlight, and natural medicine. It's natural medicine. So, I'm not a fan of the synthetic grown weed, under the false lights with all the chemicals. I'm not into that. But all of the medicine that we actually need for our healing is in nature. So, this idea that marijuana is illegal is just the pedophiles controlling our ability to manage our own health and healing naturally. It's ridiculous. So, for myself, I used to smoke when I was really young, and then I stopped when Kai was about 1 because I actually instinctively felt that smoking put us at risk of becoming a target to have Kai stolen. Like, I didn't even know how the system worked back then, but I still had that intuitive, I don't want to do anything, that could cause risk, to having my baby stolen. But with everything that I've gone through, in this last traumatic ordeal, I would not have survived if I did not have my bush medicine. So both cannabis oil, when you boil up the leaf in the water with the coconut oil, that is immensely helpful for insomnia. That's what it has helped me, to be able to sleep and to soothe and calm our nervous system naturally, to not have to go onto all this synthetic medication that comes from Big Pharma and is actually about, basically chemically lobotomizing us. It's not that. This is, nature's medicine, and being able to smoke my peace pipe, that has helped me be able to cope with the immense, stress and anxiety, and without it, I wouldn't even still be here. So this idea that the pedophiles in Parliament can make that a crime and then steal your children because you need your bush medicine is ridiculous. So the last time that they abducted Mary, when I took her, so she'd already left of her own, they put her in Glenside and she left and she came to stay with me, and then I drove her to the bus stop for her to be able to catch a bus home to her family where her children were waiting for her, and police came and abducted her from there, and there's video footage of that. I can make that available. And she had in her bag a little jar with oil, cannabis oil, bush medicine, which I had given her for her health and her healing, because she was in an absolutely traumatized state. She'd been abducted from her home and injected with God knows what, and they even undressed her and redressed her while she was unconscious. So she doesn't even know what they've done to her body. They've abducted her from her home, done who knows what to her body, stolen her from her children, put her in a foreign place where she doesn't want to or need to be, and then tried to force her to stay in their facility against her will. All complete criminality. And then when she tried to leave of her own free will to go home, they came and abducted her and then confiscated her bush medicine, because they will only medicate with what comes from the criminal pharmaceutical mafia. That's what they inject into people. That's what they push down people's throats. So they confiscated her bush medicine, and then they have taken it upon themselves to now try to subject her to random drug screening, to make it so that if she uses bush medicine, she'll be deemed a criminal and they'll steal her children. That is not on. That is not on. And we as a community need to be talking, honestly and openly about this stuff and saying, we don't support that pedophile policy. That's not right. The elders don't support that. That's not the law here. That's pedophile policy. Real law is that we can use the medicine that Mother Earth provides to heal ourselves, and that for Mary, as an original sovereign mother and woman, she knows what she needs. She knows her body. She knows how to heal herself. She doesn't need these plebs that work for the pedophiles coming in and trying to manage her and her children like they're incompetent. They're completely competent. They've been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years before this slave system ever got here, and managed without this death care system and the slave, management system. They didn't need any of that. They didn't have prisons or hospitals. You know, like, and I'm not saying that we need to not have our systems and services. We do need to have systems and services, but they need to be coming to a line of authority that is the real law. So our real sovereign original grandmothers, you know, and the trusted lawmen and women, the elders, the wise ones that are there to actually protect and serve, you know, there to provide guidance and real governance that is actually to help heal and, you know, enable peace for families, that people can feel safe in their home and safe in their bodies, and that if people need help, they get help. You know, sometimes being a mum's a really, really tough job, 24/7 round the clock. We get tired, you know, we need to actually have supports to help each other, you know, so we're caring for our children as a community and as a collective, and everyone's not broken off and isolated. We need to have support, but we don't need to, you know, essentially have a system that exploits any little possible weakness, and where they can't find a weakness, they'll just make shit up. They'll just make it up and steal your children for complete fabrication, false malicious lies, you know? So it's up to us as we, the people who are living here on the sovereign nation soil, to acknowledge that truth and to start respecting the real law holders and going to them for the guidance to say, you know, what do we do in this situation? And we need to put our energy and our resources behind the sovereign solution and making this shift in our line of authority. So Mary is safe. Her children are safe. You know, her children are safe. She loves them. You know, she needs a holiday. She needs to be able to go have some time to heal in nature, because she hasn't actually recovered from the trauma of the last 2 times they abducted her and injected her. She needs peace. She doesn't need more harassment and intimidation and threats. Oh my goodness, it's cruel and it's genocide. It's actually, that's what it is, real-time genocide, that they have pedophile policies coming down through this corporate structure, and these DCP workers have targets. They have targets for these forced removals, quotas to meet. You know, this is business, child trafficking. So the more honest we can be about what's really going on, and, you know, the real law, and recognising the real authority of our original sovereign grandmothers and law holders, men and women, as recognised by their people of their nation. You know, the people know. So it's up to us to be discerning and work out, you know, who is who's trustworthy, you know, and we know each other by our fruits. We know each other by our fruits, you know. People who are manipulating, exploiting, lying, causing harm and loss, criminals. People who are working in service of their family and community and doing their best to help people, even if they're not doing it perfectly. You know, none of us are doing it perfectly, so we all need to, you know, cut each other some slack and help each other along the way. But ultimately, those of us that are Team Humanity all need to pull together to make sure that we're protecting each other's rights. You know, Mary has an absolute right, protected under international law, to self-determination as an original sovereign woman in her own country. So we need to stand with her and protect her and her rights from these false claims to authority and jurisdiction of the criminal trespassing corporation. They don't have any rights to be harassing and targeting Mary. And when we stand with Mary and protect her, we're making those rights and the real law mean something that can protect us all and protect all of our children. And that's how we do it, you know, in coming together in the full light of truth to actually talk about what's real and how we help each other and protect the sanctity, you know, of self-determination the individual, you know, the right to our own body sovereignty, that people can't come and physically abduct us. It's a terrifying, terrifying experience. You know, no one should have to go through that. No one should have to go through that. You know, except for the actual real criminals. Like, it'd be nice to round them up and remove them so that we can, you know, deal with them. They need to be dealt with properly. We need to work out who's who and who's responsible for what, and, you know, who can be re-educated, who's redeemable, and who's not, who actually doesn't want to be part of the solution. And we're going to have to make a plan for how we're going to deal with them too, because it's our responsibility. We have to restore the law. It's not going to be magically done for us. We've got to do it together. So, yeah, I'm going to hopefully write something up for Mary, and I would be grateful, you know, for the community to put your support in place around Mary and her family. So that's both like in your hearts, in prayer, and also in sharing her story, sharing your support, and you know, putting in place love around this situation, not judgment. We don't need any, you know, haters. So many haters jump on every time the system comes in. The well-trained slaves are like, oh, well, the system must have a good reason. Yeah, the system does. Genocide, you know, child trafficking. It's making a lot of money by suppressing the truth about the real original sovereigns and stealing all their children. You know, don't automatically assume that the system is right and whoever they're targeting is a criminal, because that's not even close to true. You know, we need to actually do our own honest investigation in these matters. So yeah, please hold Mary in your hearts and help share her story and the stories of all the other sovereign women, especially, that have had their babies stolen and still being stolen right now. It's still going on. The stolen generation has not stopped. It's happening right now in current time, and it's up to all of us to, you know, use our voices and our platforms and our network to say that's enough of that. Enough's enough. All of us women all coming together, the black women, the white women, the black originals, the white originals, you know, all of us from all the different tribes of the earth, all the women coming together to support each other as sisters to protect all of our children. And the good men will help us. They'll stand with us. Of course they will. Who's going to stand against us? Only criminals. Only criminals. No one's going to stand against all of us women coming together to say, this is what's right. This is what we want and what we need for our children. Nobody else is a higher authority. You know, they're our babies. God gave them to us so we can look after them together. So yeah, please help in all the ways that you can, and yeah, together we're going to restore the real law.